I want to ask you a question. Who told you that your day begins when the sun rises? Who taught you that the morning light is your starting gun? That is the philosophy of the herd. That is the mentality of the masses. The sun is not your alarm clock. It is your competition. It is the governor of the day, and it sets the agenda for every living thing that is subject to it. The majority of the world lives in reaction to the sun. It rises and they react. It shines and they work. It sets and they rest. They are subjects in the sun's kingdom, not rulers of their own dot. But the lion does not ask the sun for permission to be king. The eagle does not wait for the light to claim the sky. The greatest leaders, the most successful entrepreneurs, and the most dominant figures in history understood a law that the average person ignores. The day is not won at midday. It is conquered in the dark. The victory is secured in the quiet, solitary hours before the world wakes up to ask you for anything. You were not created to react to your day. You were created to command your morning. And by commanding your morning, you command your life. Rise before the sun, and you will never live in its shadow. Why are you not where you want to be in life? Ask the average person that question, and they will give you a weather report. They will tell you about the economic drought in their country. They will describe the political storms raging on the horizon. They will complain about the freezing cold reception at their job and the toxic acid rain of their family background. They have become expert meteorologists of their own misery, able to predict with 100% accuracy the miserable forecast for their future. Their location has become their lifelong excuse. But I came here tonight to cancel that weather report. I am here to tell you that you are not a plant condemned to wither in the soil where you were planted. You were not created to be a product of your environment. You were designed to be the architect of your own climate. Your location is a fact, but your climate is a choice. Your location is the temporary weather of your circumstances, but your climate is the permanent atmosphere of your character. A powerful individual understands this principle. They operate like a sovereign embassy in a foreign land. They may physically reside in a location of negativity, of poverty, of cynicism, but they carry the climate of their own personal kingdom within them. When people enter their presence, they should feel a shift in the atmosphere. The culture of gossip and fear that is rampant outside should have no jurisdiction inside the climate of your mind. You are the manufacturer of your own weather. Your discipline creates a climate of success. Your integrity creates a climate of trust. Your passion creates a climate of innovation. Stop letting the temperature of your office dictate the fire in your work. Stop letting the pollution of public opinion poison the air of your convictions. Most people are thermometers. They simply reflect the chaos of the room they are in. But you were created to be a thermostat. You were designed to enter a room and declare by your very presence what the temperature is going to be. When you manufacture a climate of excellence, you will eventually be relocated to a place of opportunity. When you cultivate a climate of integrity, the location of corruption will either expel you or submit to you. Your internal climate always has the power to override your external location. The world around you does not determine you. You determine the world that you are willing to accept. Stop giving the world a weather report of your problems and start making it rain with your own solutions. And the moment you decide to make it rain, the moment you begin manufacturing solutions, you will be confronted by another fundamental law of life. You will discover that the world has trained you to chase after the paper when you were created to be the source of the water. It has conditioned you to pursue the currency when you were designed to become the well. Look around you. The world is filled with exhausted bucket carriers. They run from job to job, from opportunity to opportunity, always trying to fill their bucket with a little more currency. They get some, and it leaks out through the holes of inflation and expenses. Their entire life is a frantic, anxious search for the next place to get a little more water, and they are always thirsty. They are chasing a piece of paper that was designed by its very nature to flow. And because they are always chasing what is flowing away, they never have the time to stand still and build. But the well does not run. The well does not chase. The well's only job is to go deep. It is not concerned with the commotion of the buckets. It is obsessed with the source of the water. A person who decides to become a well stops asking, where can I get money? And starts asking, What value can I cultivate within myself so deep, so pure, and so essential that currency will have no choice but to flow to me? You are not paid for your time, you are paid for your value. And you can only increase your value by digging your well. Your job is what they pay you for. Your work is what you are becoming. Your work is digging your well. Every book you read is an act of digging. Every new skill you master is an act of digging. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you are digging your well deeper. While the bucket carriers are sleeping, you are digging. While they are complaining, you are digging. You are not trying to find value. You are becoming valuable. Stop begging for a raise. Start becoming so indispensable that the raise is an insult to your worth. A well does not beg for water. It is the destination for all who are thirsty. The deepest secret of wealth is this. It is not something you pursue. It is something that is attracted to the well of value you have become. Stop being a bucket that needs to be filled. Become the source that the buckets are looking for. But the moment you decide to stop being a bucket and start digging your well, I must warn you, you are going to hit rock. You will encounter obstacles, resistance, and opposition so hard and so immovable that it will tempt you to abandon your work. And it is here in your confrontation with these rocks that your true destiny will be decided, because you have been taught to curse the rocks when you were meant to command the river. Look at a river. Its power, its beauty, its very identity is defined by the rocks in its path. Most people pray for a life without rocks. They want a smooth, straight, easy journey. They do not understand that a river without rocks is not a river. It is a swamp. It is silent, stagnant, shallow, and dead. It is the rocks that force the river to deepen its channel. It is the rocks that cause the river to gather its power and its speed. It is the collision with the rocks that creates the river's song, that beautiful, powerful sound of life and movement. No rocks, no music. You have been cursing the very things that are meant to give your life a song. That business that failed was a rock. That person who betrayed you was a rock. That economic hardship you are facing is a rock. And you have been praying for them to be moved. But a river does not pray for the rocks to disappear. It prays for the strength to flow over and around them. When a river meets a rock, it does not stop. It does not complain. It rises. It deepens. It carves a new path, emerging on the other side stronger, faster, and with a more beautiful song than before. The obstacle is not in your way. The obstacle is the way. The resistance is not your enemy. It is your sparring partner sent to train you for your championship fight. Your power is not measured by the absence of your problems, but by the size of the obstacles you have overcome. The character you build while digging your well through hard rock is far more valuable than the water you will eventually find. You think you are digging for value, but the digging itself is what is making you valuable. Stop asking for an easier path. An easier path creates a weaker traveler. Ask instead for bigger rocks so you can become a mightier river. Stop cursing the rocks in your path. They are the only reason your life will have a song. And once you have learned to command the river, once your song is strong and your power is deep, you arrive at the final critical discipline. You must learn to channel that magnificent, roaring power, because a river that flows everywhere reaches nowhere, and a passion that is spread too thin has no power to change anything. It is here that you must learn the difference between being a bonfire and becoming a blowtorch. A bonfire is impressive. It is big and bright and loud. It draws a crowd. It generates a tremendous amount of heat and light, warming everyone who stands near it. The world is full of well-intentioned bonfires, people who are passionate about a dozen causes, who have 100 good ideas, who are involved in 20 different projects. Their energy is diffused. They warm the surface of many problems, but they solve none. They are a spectacle of passion, but not an instrument of change. Their life is a collection of warm embers, not a legacy of cut steel. But a blowtorch is different. A blowtorch takes the same essential element, fire, but it channels it through a single focused point. This act of concentration multiplies its power 1,000 times over. A blowtorch is not as big or as loud as a bonfire, but it is infinitely more powerful. It can cut, weld, and transform the hardest materials. It is an instrument of breakthrough. This is the power of a life that has been aimed. You have been conditioned to be a bonfire, to believe that being busy is the same as being effective. But the measure of your life will not be how many things you started. It will be how profoundly you finish the one thing you were called to do. This requires a decision most are unwilling to make. It is the decision to say no to 99 good ideas so that you can give a divine yes to one great one. A bonfire attracts a crowd. A blowtorch creates a future. You must channel the entire force of your river through a single narrow gorge. That is where you generate the power to light up a city. Find the one problem you were born to solve, the one song your life is meant to sing, the one piece of steel you were designed to cut, and point your entire life at it. Stop being a bonfire that just warms the air. Choose your target and become the fire that cuts through steel. So the choice is yours. Will you continue to live as a subject in the Son's kingdom, waiting for permission to begin your day? Will you remain a thermometer, a perpetual slave to the chaotic weather of your circumstances? Will you spend your one life as an exhausted bucket carrier, always thirsty, always chasing, never building? Will you curse the very rocks that were sent to give your life a song, praying for a smooth path to a stagnant swamp? Will you die as a warm bonfire, a pleasant memory of diffused potential, having never cut through a single piece of steel? Will you rise in the dark and declare that the day answers to you? I challenge you to become the architect of your own climate, to put down the bucket forever and begin the deep, solitary work of digging your well. I challenge you to welcome the rocks, to command your river, and to forge a power so immense it carves canyons through mountains of impossibility. And then I challenge you to aim it. The time for warming the world with your potential is over. It is time to cut a new future for it with your power. Good luck, and thank you.